Scott, how you doing?
How's it going?
So this is the only vehicle she would have?
Only one that, yeah.
She would drive? Okay.
Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this video we're going to be looking at the Watts Family Homicides, something which has been in the news quite frequently since it happened in August 2018. On August 13th, 2018, Chris Watts murdered his pregnant wife, Shanann Watts, and their daughters, Bella, who was 4 years old, and Celeste, who was 3, in their home in Frederick, Colorado. A lot of footage has come out, including some of him loading unusual objects at an unusual time, the denial of what happened to his family. He claimed he didn't know where they were, and his eventual confession. Let's get into it. Shanann and Christopher Lee Watts, both natives of North Carolina, were married for 6 years and had 2 daughters, Bella and Celeste. The family lived in a 5-bedroom home in Frederick, Colorado. Chris Watts was employed by Anadarko Petroleum, while Shanann was an independent representative for a multi-level marketing company called Level. At the time of her death, she was 15 weeks pregnant. On social media, the couple seemed like they had the perfect marriage. This is a video, for example, of Shanann surprising Chris with the news she is pregnant for the 3rd time.
We did it again. I like that shirt. Really?
But by this time, Chris had begun secretly dating a co-worker, Nicole Kessinger, telling her that he and Shanann, his wife, were in the process of getting a divorce. That would have been news to Shanann. While Shanann Watts spent most of the summer in North Carolina with relatives, he spent more and more time with his new girlfriend, and his wife noticed him growing distant. She desperately tried to salvage their relationship. When she returned from a business trip the morning of August 13th, she and Chris Watts got into a fight, which would end with the 15 weeks pregnant Shanann Watts being strangled to death and their 2 daughters smothered. Nothing seems to explain what possessed him to murder his entire family other than the fact he was having an affair. On August 13th, at 1:48 a.m., a neighbor's surveillance camera captured Shanann Watts returning home from her business trip. At 5:27 a.m., the same surveillance camera shows Chris Watts backing his truck into his garage and loading it up before driving off. Prosecutors said that Shanann Watts, Bella and Celeste were killed during this 3-hour period. Chris then transported the 3 bodies to the oil site where he worked. Later that day, the Watts realtor reaches out to the couple, and Chris chats with her about the current state of their home and what they're looking for in a new house. At one point, the realtor questions why Shanann Watts hasn't weighed in on their conversation. "She hasn't been around all day," Chris Watts responds. It's very odd. About an hour later, Shanann Watts' friend Nicole Atkinson went to the Watts home.
Hi.
Here, Nicole?
Yes.
Okay. What's going on?
So my friend, we were out of town for a business trip this weekend.
All right.
And I dropped her off at 2 o'clock this morning. She's 15 weeks pregnant. She wasn't feeling well, and she had a doctor's appointment this morning at 9, and I told her to let me know if she needed me to take her. She's got 2 little girls. And she was very distraught over the weekend, wasn't eating normally or drinking, and we kept trying to force it on her because she's pregnant. Her husband and her supposedly are separating, but she didn't know this. She thought they were just having issues. He disclosed that to me today.
Okay.
Because I called him and I was like, have you talked or heard from Shanann since she left for work this morning? Because I can't get a hold of her. I've called, I've texted. Her car's in the garage. Her shoes she wears every single day are by the front door.
She only has 1 vehicle?
No, they only have the 1 vehicle in his work truck.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. There's not a...
She took the girls and went on a play date, but they're 4 and 2. She went on a play date. Why wouldn't she take in a car? They're both in car seats.
She then reported her missing. Chris Watts arrived back home to talk to the police. He said his wife told him she was taking the girls to a friend's house, but didn't specify which friend.
Scott, how you doing?
How's it going?
So this is the only vehicle she would have?
Only one that, yeah.
She would drive? Okay.
That's me. Yeah. The neighbors went and checked his cameras and he said that a white car drove away at 1. It was me though. That was me. I dropped her off.
Then, after looking through the house, a neighbor invites Chris Watts and a police officer to review his home surveillance footage, which disproves Chris Watts' story that his wife left with the girls while he was at work.
I can go look if he doesn't find it.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Because if there was any sort of action out
On
there,
his cameras,
I would have got it.
like
Right.
we had issues the other week when people were stealing stuff out of like garages and stuff like that, and I had parked my truck
I
up
had
here.
to park right here.
Yeah. The last time I talked to her was this morning. She said she's gonna take the kids to a friend's house, and that's where she was gonna be. And then I've texted her today and never heard anything. But cars here,
Right.
are here, unless somebody came and picked her up. But
The next day, Chris Watts appears on Denver 7 to talk about his wife and daughter's disappearance.
Right now it's you got K9 units, the sheriff's department. Everybody's like they're doing their best right now to figure out like if they can get a scent and see where they went. If they went on foot, they went in a car, or they went somewhere. I mean, right now I don't even want to just like throw anything out there. Like I hope that she's somewhere safe right now and with the kids.
Then, finally, on August 15th, 2 days after he murdered his family, police discover Chris Watts has a mistress and he fails a lie detector test. He admits to strangling his wife and burying her in a shallow grave at an oil site.
I freaked out. What was separation of them? She laid like down, but that's when I went downstairs, but I heard like a little commotion upstairs, but I didn't think anything of it. And then we went back upstairs and she was there. I could see like she was not. Not choking her or did she kill him? They were blue. Both of them? Yeah. She choked both of them to death. I freaked out at the same thing. I don't want to say. I don't want to say it though. No, so she killed Lucy and choked him to death. You lost it and choke her or? That's just rage.
But he refused to take responsibility for the deaths of his daughters, saying his wife Shanann Watts smothered them. Chris Watts was arrested on suspicion of 3 first-degree murder charges and 3 charges of tampering with a deceased human body. The bodies of the Watts family were located by authorities on the property of Watts' now former employer on August 16th. Watts had been fired from his job on August 15th, the day of his arrest. The children's bodies were found in oil tanks, while Shanann was buried in a nearby shallow grave. On August 21st, Watts was charged with 5 counts of first-degree murder, unlawful termination of a pregnancy, and 3 counts of tampering with a deceased human body. Watts pled guilty to all 9 counts against him. The death penalty was not put forward by the district attorney on the request of Shannon's family, who didn't wish for any further deaths. In pleading guilty to 5 counts of first-degree murder, Chris Watts changed his initial story that his wife killed their daughters, and admitted to killing them himself. 2 additional murder charges were added, because the children were under the ages of 12. On November 19th, Watts was sentenced to life in prison, without the possibility of parole. And that's the story of the Watts family homicides. At the moment, it's still unclear as to why he did what he did. Why did he kill his family when there was no reason to? They got into a fight, sure. Killing your wife and your 2 daughters? Thanks for watching, everybody. The footage there was highly disturbing and intriguing to see somebody so vehemently deny what they knew was going on. See you in the next video. Really appreciate you watching. Mike out.